All right, it's 10:30. Looks like we have at least 4 here, so let's do a call to order. Start with a roll call.
No, it's in here.
All right, Patrick is here, Daryl's here, and Marty
Yep, Marty's here.
is here. Thank you,
We're
sir.
there.
There. Next on approval of meeting agenda. I would like to amend the agenda and add, we have to talk about the board member term, I think. There's 2 folks up for, so we need to add that, to the agenda, I guess. And then,
So you're making the motion, essentially?
yeah, please make a motion, yeah, to add that. If I can get a,
Did you want to add 2 things or just that one?
I forget what the other one was I was gonna add. Look in the email.
I move we accept the adjustments
one.
that Patrick has proffered.
If I can find my email here it is. Oh, yeah, the second one would be to add a discussion on the 4th of July upcoming.
Want to put those in as 9 and 10?
Yeah, I guess.
We won't get them out.
Sorry, thank you. We have 9 and 10 there, so it'd be new business, actually.
Both of them new business.
What, the new business?
Yeah, it'd be new business.
Okay.
It can be either new business or discussion. It doesn't
Gotcha.
matter.
I'll second that.
All right, everybody, yay?
All in favor?
Okay,
Aye.
thank you. Anyone against? Thank you. There's no Trey here to keep me going.
All right. So you're done.
Thank you, thank you. Next is approval of minutes. If everybody could take a couple minutes there to read the pun is intended. Maybe.
They're lazy.
He's away at a conference.
I move to approve the minutes as given.
I'll second that. Thank you.
All in favor? Okay. Yes. Thank you. Next up is public communication, 3 minutes. Rate Board is providing opportunities for public comments by submitting written comments, blah, blah, blah. So anybody in the room have the, yes, go ahead, sir.
Yes, I was going through the budget and I noticed there was a section for the aerial you're gonna build. And I was just wondering, the numbers with me, because there was a section for money, I don't know if you do whether I wanted to buy it. Is the information on the website?
What section was that again?
Pardon?
What, I'm sorry, what section did you say?
The aerial that you're gonna build.
Oh, the aerial.
Aerial. What aerial?
Yeah, I don't know what an aerial is.
Well, there's gonna be ARPA funds for
Antenna?
radio aerial.
Oh, the antenna?
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, I was like, what the heck's an aerial? I'm like, we got a word over us or something.
Well, it's on the old business for radio tower.
Yeah, we're gonna discuss.
Okay.
Any?
That's-
Anybody online?
Gina?
Gina, if you have any comment? Take that as a no.
Time.
Great, thank you. All right, next up is Chair's report. Nothing new since, I will talk about it when we talk about the agenda. I'll talk about the on-air discussion with the mayor as far as. No, I don't really have anything to add except just to put on record that if we can get NIMBA to raise the rates, that'd be great. North Beach Independent Media to raise the rates. I don't say that's they're low. We all know that, but if you don't do it, they That's all I have. I don't have anything else. Station report next to be with Trey and Butch.
I don't have a report except to say that Sunday night we had a visitor. I wasn't sure if they were there to volunteer or what, but the visitor did enjoy eating out of the Elks trash bin in back. Well, so as I came to swing around to park, there was this
Really?
really large black bear kind of back in the parking area. And so I was kind of like, oh, hi. So I went and parked and I kind of waited for him to decide that he was done sightseeing at the radio station and to amble off and go into our enclosure where I could taunt him then because they go, ha, you can't get me now. Unless, of course, you go over the barbed wire. And I was looking at the area where he had pulled some trash out of the receptacle, and back picking amongst the trash was a coyote. And the coyote was funny because he's sniffing around and then he'd look up to see where the bear was. And he'd go back to digging around and then he'd look up to see where the bear was. But Butch actually saw the bear on Friday, or Henry.
Henry
Saw
told me about it, yeah. Oh, boy, he was a
So-
loud bark.
So I think volunteers need to be aware that we do abut the weather wax, and when there are wild animals, they like to hang out in weather wax. I've seen packs of coyotes come out of the woods. Like, that's one reason I park close to the fence, because one time I was parked, we'd had 3 or 4 other people there. I was parked down a ways, and as I came out, a pack of coyotes came out right in front of me, and I was like, whoa. So I like to be close to the fence, but we do have
Henry went berserk one day, couldn't figure out what he was yelling at. It was on the back side of the building, so I ran back there. Hear that big old black bear, him and we're almost nose to nose at the fence. He's eating all those salmon berries.
Bears going at it.
So that's my report.
We have a new DJ named Mara. She'll be starting tonight from 9 o'clock to midnight shift. Trey's gonna train her because it's beyond my bedtime.
Trey's.
Yeah, Trey's turn.
After his bedtime.
We kind of found actually Marty found the issue we had with that weird interference noise that we were getting over the air. It didn't happen on stream, it only happened going over the air.
I heard it last night.
Yeah, you heard it last night?
Last night, not for I think it was last.
Well, what do you say, the processor, Marty? Is that what it's called?
Well, it's called a codec. It just converts analog audio from the console to digital audio that goes over the short microwave hop between our building and where the main microwave transmitter is over in the generator building. And so there's a little interface down under the console that handles converting it to a digital stream. And it had basically locked up. I don't know if I know there's a buffer in there that takes care of momentary little glitches, but when it gets to processing too much, it can become a repeat type of a sound effect that's not intentional and not desired. And so just power cycling it, pull the power cord, wait 30 seconds, plug it back in, let everything resettle, and took off clean as a whistle. There are 2 things that are indicated by that. First of all, the power supply is just one of those little plug into the wall, most of us call them a wall wart type power supply. Those do have a definite life cycle to them, particularly when they're associated with digital to audio or between analog and digital audio conversions. So there's a possibility that the power supply is starting to get a little bit on the outer edge of its lifespan. The second possibility is that the unit itself, this little chrome metal box, is reaching the edge of its expected life cycle. So the proper way to approach that would be, and what we have done is methodically done a recycle. It's back working. We're going to replace that power supply when I get back in town, so that we'll be knowing that the power supply is not the source of the problem. And then if it rears its ugly head again, then we can start really focusing on the analog to digital converter itself. And so that's kind of where we are with that. It's just more a matter of methodically addressing it. And it seemed to clean it up completely during that recycle. And we'll see how it goes.
Thanks, Marty. The other thing we got the 4th of July this year is a little different than it has been in the past. For the first time, the city's actually putting on an event in the west parking lot from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock with 2 live bands, and North Beach Independent Media will be doing the beer garden on that.
Is it 10, you said west parking lot of the convention center?
West parking lot. I think it's a gun show still going on this year, so they'll be taking up the east side of the parking lot, and yeah, and they got an outdoor stage now, and they got 2 bands coming up. So it'll be 5 to 10 o'clock that they're gonna be.
This is by the Tesla superchargers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll be blocked.
I'll be able to charge up there. Also, I'll be trying to meet with Chief Ritter, because I'll probably be back up on the Shiloh at the command center again, like I did last year. Kind of help direct traffic through the radio station, because last time they're all trying to go down Chancellor axis, just plugged up the whole city. And we were able to transport some of those people down to the other beach accesses, so it really helped out. Probably be doing about the same thing this year. Or if there's a dire emergency, we can get it out too.
Oh, but this year it's gonna be far worse, because this year it's on a Friday.
know.
And high tide.
High tide's at 8 or like 8 something, and it's not super high either, so it's plenty early to go.
Yeah, but we'll have
Not
like
10
10
o'clock at night,
million.
like-
Now I know, it's like 12:30 because it was on the 5th and no one saw that. You pointed it out actually at city council, that meeting.
No, but we're gonna have 10 million people in town, so. The last week it was during the middle of the week.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
And that's my report.
Great, thank you. Just to make sure, did we do approval of the minutes?
Yeah.
Yep.
I would have stopped you already.
I know, that's what I was thinking. Next up, we would have technology report. Marty, you're on.
Hi. Thank you. Only a couple quick items. Number one, the emergency alert system in the U.S. is, we've talked about this a little bit before, so there's more of an update. The discussion is continuing between a software solution for the future versus the type that we have now, which is considered an appliance type approach, where you buy an emergency alert box, you plug in audio from various monitoring sources, you put it on the internet so it gets federal feeds that come in from the internet, and then it controls what goes out over the air for alerting purposes. There's a group that says the hardware box is ancient technology and it should all be done in software. And there's a pretty strong voice that's being heard right now anyway, that says, but that is fraught with potential errors, from everything from hacking to inadvertent shutdown by the PC itself. There's all sorts of things. The appliance approach has worked wonderfully well for many, many, many years, for decades. Probably, well, it goes all the way back to the beginning, where they had a special appliance for what was called Conelrad back in the 1940s and 50s. And then in the late 60s, we changed to a new version that was also appliance oriented. And then as an emergency alert system description came along about 20 years ago, they went to these control boxes. Well, what's triggered this or advanced this desire for a software approach is that one of the two, there used to be 4 manufacturers making these devices. Now there's only one right now. The that's elevated the concerns about the availability of units to supply them out to all the stations across the United States, because that's not only radio and television, but it's all, AM radio, FM radio, television. Cable systems are required to put these messages up on all of their channels when there's a significant alert. And so all of these, all across the United States, there are thousands and thousands of these boxes. And so this is one of the balancing acts that's being considered by the FCC right now. So there's lots of discussion going on. The other thing, another thing is the desire of radio broadcasters to keep AM radios in vehicles. And there had been a statutory requirement that radios that or vehicles that have, or anybody that builds a radio that has an FM section must include an AM band section. And a lot of the electronic or electric vehicle manufacturers have challenges in controlling the amount of broadband noise that's created by the electronics within electronic vehicle. So they were suggesting that they would do away with AM radios in electric vehicles and then extend that mandate or that direction to all vehicles. So we would lose the ability to ever pick up the AM band in vehicles going forward. Well, there was a strong outcry, as you can imagine, from the AM radio groups, as well as some of the manufacturers. And they're pushing very, very heavily to make it an actual FCC mandate that radios in vehicles always include AM, even though that's considered ancient modulation. It's still a survival and informational outlet that millions of people across the United States continue to rely on. So the thought of pulling the rug out from under that is not particularly palatable to a lot of politicians. So more and more of them are signing on to a bill that will mandate the continued availability of AM radio in vehicles. And then it just puts the onus on the manufacturer to make sure that the radios work properly. And then the final thing I was going to bring up, and Trey and I work together on this. Trey does all the work and all I do is push a couple of buttons at the end of it. But our quarterly report for submittal on the KOSW public file issues report will be due. We'd like to hit it in prior to July 9th. It has to actually be submitted sometime between July 1st and July 10th. But the earlier we can get it in, the better it looks from the standpoint of performance at the FCC. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Marty. Next council liaison report, Richard, I don't think he's here.
He's not here.
Marty, back to you. Do you want anything to add for the board member report?
Well, yeah, I guess this is as good a time as any. This is my last official radio board meeting as a regular board member, and I want to express my deep appreciation for the opportunity to contribute to our community over the past 8 or so years. We've lived out at the beach over 9 years now, so it's an honor and a privilege to work alongside all the dedicated individuals who share a passion for ocean shores. And particularly, my thanks go to the station managers, Butch and Trey. I mean, they're the thumping heartbeat of the station, and everybody pumps information to them, and they make sure it gets distributed where it needs to go. And I can't imagine a couple of guys who are doing a better job than what we have. And serving as a board member and previously as a chairman, one of the most rewarding volunteering experiences that I've had. And I'm really proud of what we've accomplished together. We've transformed a tiny radio station studio into a high performance tiny radio studio. But we've upgraded the signal from a low power to a full power Class A non-commercial with improved coverage in our community, and the collaboration between the City Works Department, They've all made a wonderful, lasting impact, and I'm grateful to have been part of the team of putting that together. And certainly all the fellow board members that have served with me, everybody rises to the occasion for what the demands are of their involvement, and that makes all the difference in the world. And I know we've got that going. And even out to Mayor Eldwin and the City Council of Ocean Shores, including our current and past council liaisons. I just wanted to thank everybody for the trust and efforts that they have also put in to enhance the Ocean Shores for residents and visitors. It's fantastic. So while I'm stepping away from the formal role in this, I have a great admiration for the board, and I love for the community, which remains strong. And I do look forward to assisting the station with developing successes going forward as more engineering projects come up. And we have a lot of engineering projects right now to kind of put a bow on and neaten things up. And, I'll still be involved in all that, but stepping away from the board is a pretty big step. So I just wanted to acknowledge everybody and thank you. And I know with Patrick there and all the efforts, you guys are on a good track. So tip of the hat to everybody. Thank you. I'll shut up now.
Well, thank you, Marty.
You bet.
Wow, thanks, Marty. So I guess you're not renewing.
Does that mean you're not gonna redo?
Not this year. Not this year. Not, but thank you for that encouragement. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Marty. Darrell, you're up next.
I don't have anything for the board. I do have one. Somebody skipped over the meeting notes approval. I did have one change in the board meeting report on my section where it says channel 68 is no longer on YouTube. We're no longer simulcasting KOSW
Oh.
because of copyright issue. So
It is an issue.
Hmm?
That is an issue.
within about 15 seconds, the robots find a music piece and shut you. Well, first they sent an email, and when I was simulcasting and stuff, it was like, I got a note from John. I've gotten like 16 emails all of a sudden every time a new song came on. And then if we did it anymore, they're going to ban us. So.
Damn AI.
I know.
Hey, Darrell,
Yo.
you might be able to explore a letter of retransmission agreement with KOSW. There might be something in the YouTube bylaws or uses and restrictions that would permit something like that if you had a contracted or at least a documented relationship with the station. Something to think about. I'm not positive, but I've heard of things like that happening under other operations.
Letter of retransmission, that's what's called?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So we're back at the approval of meeting, or excuse me, approval of minutes. I'll go ahead and get a motion to have that as Darrell proposed, amended.
I motion that we accept that.
Anybody second it?
I'll second it.
Everybody yay? Yay. Anybody opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay. Darrell, do you have anything else?
No, that's it.
Thank you. Rick Manish is not here. Marilyn?
Nothing.
And myself, I don't have anything else to add, what will be discussed here quickly. Next is financial reports for review. Again, those are no longer provided in print. You have to click on the link. For that, if anybody wants to take any time to take a quick gander. He says in the PDF itself, right? Yeah, I see the link there.
Maybe you should take that off the monthly agendas.
I think it's very, no, I think it'd be personally, I would think it's be our responsibility to make sure we're looking at the money monthly.
Maybe look at it once a year, twice a year, but.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to. Just what I'm looking at isn't quick to really look at. It's the whole entire thing. I thought it was linked right to it. I got lucky last time, so. I'd need more time to take a look at it probably offline unless anybody else wants to spend the time to look at it right this second.
I mean, I couldn't find it. I looked this
Yeah.
morning.
All right. Well, I'm gonna make a note to make sure to take a look and I'll just, my next, um. Chairman report next meeting, I'm gonna go ahead and give a little, summarize, yeah, that, I looked at it, so. All right. Old business? Radio tower. So as we know, or most of us know, there's a budget that we have, our lease is. It's like what, 31 or 3,200 a month, I believe we pay for the.
34 right now.
3,400 a month we pay for the tower up on the hill, up by, Powell's Crossing up there. And so it's expensive. It's the biggest thing on our budget. And I believe it shows up under utilities, I think, if it's a budget item. I'll have to look what category it's in there. And so as we know, that's expensive and our goal is to, lower that expense. And so what we're doing is we're looking at the tower at we say the tower at the IGA, it's behind that, it's the Quest building or CO, central office, where all the copper in this town ends up at. And they own that building, they own that tower, and it's not being used except for, I believe, an Osprey up on top.
Yeah.
And so, Marty's been tasked, he reached out to the Quest and kind of get a conversation started. So the goal is to hopefully use that tower instead of the one up the hill. We're gonna leave this on the agenda until we have a solution every month about the radio tower. But so that's where we're at right now, is the first discussion. And so Marty, if you can make maybe a quick summarize and what anything new to add, that'd be great.
Absolutely. Yes. So I had a telephone conversation with the VP of broadcast leasing at the tower company that manages the tower. And I would say they are sympathetic to our situation, both from the standpoint of we didn't discuss the specifics of the cost of our current site, but in describing the attempts to, absolutely drill down and minimize the expense of sites, they understood that, a site that's run by American Tower is something that is across the nation an expensive undertaking. It's just their business model doesn't give much latitude for low power or lower power or non-commercial or things like that. Well, these guys, Vertical Bridge is the name of the company. They have a more compassionate approach. They've been doing this for a long time also. And what I've been able to, we haven't had hard negotiations yet, but just the soft discussions, it looks like that they would sign up, they would allow a 5-year initial term if we want that. There would be a 3% escalator each year. 10 typically low power TV stations, which still run in the same power neighborhood of what we're running, so a couple thousand watts, not like 100,000 watts. He said that they typically charge $700 a month. So my expectation is, depending on a few of the particulars in what we end up with there, I think we could reasonably project that our operation there would be less than $1,000 a month. I think I'm pretty comfortable with that right now in our discussions, and thinking that that's a pretty good lid to consider. So it's very attractive, in my opinion. And the next steps will be for, I guess we should go to the city and I'll talk to the consultant that we use at Field and Dawson. Eric Swanson is his name, a professional engineer. And I always turn to them because they're experts in the field. They're local in Seattle, international company, and they know all of the rules and nuances of things, particularly that are going on in our neighborhood. So the next step would be to have a feasibility study run by them. And I think I'm just going to take a wild shot at this. It's probably like $500, something like that, where they would do a more thorough analysis of the signal requirements for KOSW to move to that site, and figure out an actual cost for doing the filings, because once we've identified the site and we have they come back and they say, well, you can cover the whole community with this much power by protecting these guys, or not protecting, as the case may be, since every site is unique. Then they can predict what the cost would be for an actual filing to get a construction permit. And now that we have open discussions with Vertical Bridge, we have the option of developing an actual application to the FCC to specify that location. And then we'll presume that the commission grants that, then we would relocate the equipment from our existing site down to the new site. And if we can detail the timing correctly, this could come off very smoothly. What we really need to be aware of is that we do have a couple more years left on the contract with American Tower, and how that would be treated in trying to remove that contract, I don't know. I don't know the terms and conditions at that granular of a level. So we would have to talk with the city about that aspect as to, are we going to just try to dovetail this on the tail end of the existing contract if this site turns out to be acceptable? Those are things that need to be fleshed out as time goes by. So it's not a big deal. It's just all these little formalities that have to be followed. And then if we do build it there and we get it online, then we file for a license to cover that location. I'm also going to be encouraging a quick analysis of the site that's there at the studio, just from the standpoint of making it a fully appropriate auxiliary backup transmitter facility from the FCC perspective. So there we go. It sounds pretty sweet. Oh, there is one other element though, on the tower there by the IGA. There will be, and the ballpark estimate is about $2,500 for a professional engineer structural study that is required to make sure that the tower is capable of holding the small antennas and the small feed lines and things that will be on the tower.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So additionally, beyond KOSW's access to the site, this would also open up the door for the city to have a pretty substantial backup location for the city fire, police,
Like
water.
county radios, okay, yeah.
Right. So, I'm holding that out there on the side, and given that this is all under the auspices of the city of Ocean Shores as a licensee of each of those facilities, um, maybe we can get an even better deal.
Good thinking. Great.
Marty?
That's great.
Thanks.
Marty, if the city can use that tower, does that eliminate the need to build another tower? We can take this old tower down?
Well, it might. Um, what it might do better is relieve pressure on the city to have to replace the existing tower in the city um, under stressful conditions. Like if the tower collapsed, boom, the city's got to do something. Well, if we're not even on that tower significantly, and we have at least a backup, if not a main operation on the tower near the IGA, um, it alleviates that urgent factor of trying to manage a couple of disasters all at once, because something catastrophic will have been occurred to cause that tower to come down. I mean, it's not going to come down on a light breeze. If we got hit by a hurricane, it'll probably come down. But so it's
the tower next to the station at the yard, right? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Just want to make sure everybody understands.
On a Saturday morning.
yeah. So it's better time and cost management to be able to have a alternate location be working from. Someday the city may say, we want to get out of paying rent. Who wouldn't? And at that point, maybe federal dollars will be available again. Maybe more county dollars will be available again, because they've been talking about this for several years. And then another suitable site under complete control of the city could occur. And then the other possibility, although I get the sense that it would be probably a step too far, would be the city somehow taking over ownership of the actual structure that's on the CenturyLink Quest property at the central office. That's a possibility. They could pay a small rent fee to, I mean, I'm just making that part up. I have no idea what it would become, but to CenturyLink Quest / Vertical Bridge, if the city managed to negotiate purchasing that tower. I don't even know if that's in the cards, but that way, at least the tower itself would be under control of the city rather than having to pay the full rent vote. They would just be paying the ground space rent. So it's a thought. It's another one for the grid that's being built of options.
And Marty, just to be clear, I mean, you stepping down as a board member, you're still gonna be talking to these guys about the tower and all that. I mean, nothing changes with that as far as.
No,
Okay.
I'm still legitimately a volunteer with an approved volunteer with the city, as far as I can tell.
Gotcha.
If somebody, seriously though, if somebody finds out there's a procedure that needs to go through or some such discussion, we'll figure that part out.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Is it Asprey?
Yeah, we know about it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Great, so that's really, and what's the next step, Marty, with the vertical bridge, I guess? What's the last thing or the next task that you guys have? Are you waiting on any information from them? Are they waiting anything from you? I'm just kind of curious, what's the absolute latest step with them?
Well, if we say, yeah, we're on the right course, and they want to draft up a proposed lease, that would probably be a next step. However, with an osprey nest or any raptor nest present on the tower that is occupied, and now we have evidence that there are offspring up there in that nest, you can't even touch the tower. The environmental impact requirements on preservation preclude anybody even climbing that tower, approaching that nest at this point. So it's going to be several months before any real hardcore discussions need to get kicked off in that regard. However, what I would recommend is seeking approval to have at least the preliminary coverage study done to see what we could accomplish from being located on that tower. And that way, we'll have a much better forecast for not only expenses, but expectations.
Great, thank you.
Expectations of coverage. Yeah.
One thing we learned, there was an a bald eagle's nest on a tree that got cut down behind us in a lot. And so when we reported it, we were looking into it to see what, well, as far as they were concerned, as long as it's not occupied with any eggs or babies in that nest, then you can go ahead and cut the tree down. But you cannot touch that tree if there are eggs or there are nesting babies in that. Same with the tower. So if the osprey, like you said, we have to wait months till the babies fly out of there. And then you got a window you got to use, right? Because you don't want them to come back and start all over again.
Well, right. A pre-existing nest is quite an invitation to the next family that flies through the neighborhood. So,
Right.
yeah. Yeah.
We
But-
had that at
but
Boeing, where
that's-
there's a tree.
But that's the
responsibility.
responsibility.
Nope, you can't do it. They completely shut down
Yeah,
the
until the babies leave the nest and then
construction of several multi-million-dollar buildings. And there's this old tree right in the middle.
Right.
What was that, Marty?
Well, fortunately, that's the responsibility of Vertical Bridge and CenturyLink Quest to deal with the wildlife issues. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew about it on our end, just from the timetable standpoint. That's all.
Great. Marilyn, did you have anything to add on this discussion? Or any questions?
I have a question. How long is the existing contract that we've got now, that $3,400 a month? How long is that contract? When does it just end?
I think it's 27 or something like that. It was a 5-year contract.
Okay.
I was thinking 3 years.
we got, yeah. Well, how long have we had that now? 2 years? It's about.
Let's see.
2.5.
In June, it became. See, it's awkward. Let's see. I don't. The reason I'm hesitant is there are a couple of target dates that are trigger dates. We got it on the air in January, but that was not the impacting number. The contract was signed, I believe, either June or July. I think it was signed in June. So we're in our second year. So it was 2 years ago, so it'd be 3 years.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 28. It might be 28 when the contract is up. I don't have it right offhand. It's in my database, but
So looking at the things that you've got to do so far, if it looks like this new location would be good, I'm gonna guess it's gonna take, it wouldn't be before a year's up before you jump through all those hoops with the landowners and the FCC